Racing takes place at Fairview on Tuesday, the 28th of February 2023, and we are racing on the poly track, and I'm joined by Grant Paddock on the line. And Grant, how are you doing?
Morning, Rahil. All good, my side. Thank you very much.
Lovely to hear. And poly track racing is back, and I'm sure that the guys are looking forward to this meeting. The poly track's back, and it's quite a competitive 8 races on the card.
Yeah, definitely, Rahil. Very competitive, couple of difficult races, and as I say, first meeting back after the poly's been refurbished. It's going to be interesting to see how quick or slow the track is going to be. I probably think it's going to be a little bit on the slow side until everything firms up again. So first couple of meetings, in fact, on the poly are going to be interesting.
Well, race number 1 on the program is the start of the bipod. 12:45 is the time you need to get your bipod bets on. And your favorite is number 1, Woodland Ridge, now with Kelly Mitchley, formerly with Johan Janse van Vuren at 16-10. It's 33-10 about Caitlin's Boy, 9-2 Siberian Fox, and then it's 11-2 about Fly Better, 10-1 and Better Bar those. Woodland Ridge, based on his last performance behind Time Together, he put in a much better run. He's drawn in pole position, and he looks to be the horse that they all have to beat. First run for Kelly Mitchley, stepping up in trip.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you, Rahil. One of the better bets on the card, I think. His work has been absolutely top class. His last run was very, very good. Got a lovely draw of 1. The stable's in form. I'm strong on Woodland Ridge. Siberian Fox ran a good second on Friday. How he pulled up, I can't answer that, but he's an honest kind of a guy, and he'll run a good race if he does run. Caitlin's Boy is the unknown. New run, first one for Alan. Adam like to normally give them a sprint before he gets them over the right foot. But I'm very strong on Woodland Ridge here, Rail.
Yeah, I'm with you, Grant. Number 1, Woodland Ridge, the one that they all have to beat, and a horse that will certainly be taking out chances in the bipod and being with this one, horse number 1. Now we're going to move along to race 2, which is the start of the place accumulator. It's a maiden plate over 1,900 meters. 1 is the time you need to get your bets on. Douglas Devastator, your favorite, at 8-10. It's 7-2 about Clap of Thunder. Space Explorer at 9-2. 12-1 and Better Bar those. Now, last time out, Douglas Devastator found one too good in the form of Equestrian Affair, who I was surprised actually drifted out in the market after finding early support. And for those that tuned into the show, hopefully they managed to get onto the 12-1 on the tote about Equestrian Affair, who got the job done for Gavin Smith and JP van der Merwe. Drawn in gate 2, Douglas Devastator, second run after rest. Surely he could get it right in this lineup.
Well, they've picked the right kind of a race, but, this horse has been so disappointing. And second run after rest, I'm a big believer in it. It's normally a flat run. But it looked like they found the right race for Hill. I do respect this horse, Space Explorer. He went far too hard last time out in a 2-4. And he's back in trip now to 1,900, short running. So if he could get away from him with Keegan de Mello up from a 3 draw, he could be a big runner. The Douglas Devastator likes to give them a bit of start, and I don't think you can do that on the poly. And then, Joe Harmon has done nothing wrong. He'll be there and thereabouts. But I make it between the top 2,
Yeah, the top 2 in the market. And we'll see how race number 2 does unfold. It's certainly a race where there are a few horses that are struggling in the maiden ranks. It wouldn't be a surprise if they were to win or if they were to find 1-2 good on the day. But Joe Harmon, Douglas Devastator, Space Explorer, Clap of Thunder, Bell's First Wave, Jack in the Box, all horses that wouldn't be surprised if they were to come through and get the job done. Race number 3 on the card, which is a Fillies and Mares 82 handicap over 1,900 meters. Get your pick 6 bets on by 13:55 on the afternoon. Go Likely, your narrow favorite at 7-2, Heart's Ease, Aerial View, both trading at 4-1. It's 9-2 about Wildest Dreams, 5-1 Master's Queen, 8-1 and Better Bar those. Now we'll start with the top weight here. That's Go Likely, 60.5 kgs on the back. She absolutely loves the poly track. That's where she found her best form when coming over to Fairview. Last time out, a much better run behind Ideal Angel, Richard Fourier board. And she's a horse that will certainly run well. I think so will Heart's Ease and Aerial View. All horses with chances here.
Yeah, I think that Ideal View form line will stand up here. Go Lightly, she ran a very good race last time. She just got caught out by the 2,000. She's much better over this kind of a trip. But she's a very quirky filly. If she decides to put it in, she'll beat the other 2. But big respect for both the Gavin Smith horses. Slight preference to Aerial View. But I think the winner will come from the top 3. But in the pick six, you got to add in Wildest Dreams has done nothing wrong as well.
Yeah, just one more to throw into the mix is, for me, is going to be number 5, River Cafe. Just given the fact that Loom Kotoa gets on so well with this 5-year-old daughter of Legislate, 4 rides for 3 victories, and she's a 2-time winner from her 3 starts over the course and distance. Last time out, a below par run, but she seems to enjoy the poly track, and if she's at her best, then maybe she could be a horse that runs them off their feet in this lineup. But certainly numbers 1, 2 and 3 do set the standard in this race, and grants a narrow preference for number 3, Aerial View from the Gavin Smith yard with Keegan DeMello aboard. Race number 4 on the program, the start off, Jackpot 1. It's an MR 68 handicap over 1900 meters. And your favorite in this lineup is Jaspero at 3-1, Bold Strike 7-2, Guy Alexander 4-1, My Boy Reese 5s, 11-2, Al McWar, 7-1, and better above those. Now, Grant, there's a few horses that do quite enjoy the poly track. Therefore, I thought quite a difficult race, and a race where you possibly want to go a bit wider than you normally would.
100%. Rahil, this is a very, very tricky race. I've gone for My Boy Reese back on the poly, back over the 1900 that he enjoyed. It wasn't a bad run last time I 6 legs to Blondak. Blondak's a very decent horse. With Louis up, I think he's a big runner. You've got the likes of Guy Alexander, Bold Strike, Jaspero. If it was a mile, would probably have won this kind of a race. But it's still the 1900 with Louis up last time out. He ran a very decent sort to a half a length in Heathcliff. I think My Boy Reese and Jaspero should get you through the PA, but you're going to need a couple more in the likes of Guy Alexander, Strike in the six.
Yeah, Jaspero, super consistent sort, never too far off the action, and he continues to earn for the owner and for Gavin Smith. And interesting that Guy Alexander remains there in PE, and he's back on the poly track where he is 1 from 1. And despite top weight, he's a horse that surely going to give a very, very good account of himself in race number 4. So that would be the narrow top choice for me. But Grant with My Boy Reese for the Sharon Cotton team. Now race number 5, which is an MR 82 handicap over 1600 meters, and you were just chatting about Blondak. You mentioned he's a very nice horse, and he's your favorite here at 28-10. King Crusade at 7-2, and then the Fire Lord, Gold Rock, they're all behind those. But for me, Grant, I thought number 2, King's Crusade, he's 3 kgs better off with Blonde Act on their last meeting, and I think he could turn the form around. He's probably needed a couple of runs to acclimatize to conditions over in PE. He's a horse that I know Joey Sommer thought quite a bit of him up in the Highveld, and he's probably been a bit disappointing to be only a 3-time winner, but I think he could find his feet over in PE. Back on the poly track now, he'd be the top choice for me, but Blonde Act, Healthy Respect, he's on a roll. He's looking for a 4-timer, and how do you think he's going to go here?
Rahil, I'm listening to you what you say at King's Crusade. I'm just concerned he had 1 run on the poly. He got beaten 8 lengths. And that's always a big concern. Then he ran twice on the grass, and he ran very decent races. So it could be a slight preference to the grass on King's Crusade. I do honestly believe Blondak is ahead of the handicapper. He won supremely well last time out. I'm not concerned over the draw. He races from off the pace. And as you know, in Port Elizabeth, there is always the pace. Zigzag is a bit of a runner as well. Unfortunately, the yard is very, very out of form at the moment, but he's still a very decent horse over a mile on poly. But I'm gonna stick with Blondak to beat King's Crusade and Zigzag.
Last time out when Gold Rock got the job done, were you with him? Or had you given up?
No, unfortunately, I wasn't. He seems to be better on the grass, Gold Rock. So let's see what happens with him back on the poly.
Yeah, absolutely. Grant mentioned number 1, Bold Act could be ahead of the handicapper, and he could certainly be spot on with that. 2 runs on the poly track for 2 wins. That's Alan Krief and Richard Furey teaming up on this 4-year-old son of Act of War, who's certainly on a roll and looking for a 4-timer. Race number 6, which is an MR 80 handicap, 1200 meters a distance. And another competitive lineup. We're on the road again. Is your favorite at 7-2, 4-1 Jet Mirage, 5-1 Life on Mars, Al Qasim, Brass Bell, and then it's 10-1 and better bar those. Now, I thought some value in the race could be with number 8, Burning Wings, from the Duncan McKenzie yard. Chase Mojan gets a ride. He's drawn in pole position on the poly track for the first time over in PE. He has run on the poly track before, down in KZN when he has won once. And I think Burning Wings could be a lively contender here. He offers some decent value, as I mentioned, at 14-1. He's dropped in the ratings. drawn well, enjoys the distance, and he's going to be the each-way play in the race for me. Although I do have healthy respect for On the Road again, who does have number 8, Burning Wings, stone cold on that run behind Torero, and Burning Wings has a bit to find, but 14-1 compared to 7-2, I'd much rather be with the value of number 8.
Raheel, I probably wouldn't want to be with either of them, to be very honest with you. Burning Wings pulled up, not starting out last time out 18 days ago. That's always a concern. Now moving on to the firmer poly surface. On the road again, ran second to Torero in a MR72 where the average rating was 66. That's nowhere near what Al Qasim and Life on Mars have been taking on. I'm very strong on Al Qasim. He's run his last 2 starts per second to horses called Flip Top and Naval Secret, where the average ratings were 87 and 81. I think he's the right horse in the race. He runs very well for Munger, loves the course and distance. I actually think he's going to be a hard horse to beat and worth a bet. Life on Mars, a poly specialist. And I also give a little bit of a chance to Jet Mirage, but he's got to behave himself race time.
Yeah, we're keen to see how race number 6 does unfold, and horse number 2, Al Qasim. He's found a bit of support. He limped 2 into 5-1 for the Zitzman Oosthuizen in yard, and Grant mentioning that he's actually worth a bet on the head at 5-1. So if you're a follower of Al Qasim, then I'm sure you'll certainly love that confidence from Grant coming through. Now we're going to move along to race number 7, the penultimate race on the day. Get your bets on by 4:10. Saltalis, your favorite at 2-1, 3-1 Forest Buy, 4-1 Captain Opie, 6-1 and better bar those. Now, Grant, what's your thoughts on this race? Saltel is obviously the favorite and a horse that is in some good form, run up in his last 2 starts. But do you think that 1200 could just catch him out at this time in his career, given that he's a 6-year-old and he could enjoy a mile, 14 to a mile?
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. I know Alan was telling us that he now needs the mile, and then 18 days later he brings him back to a 1200 on the poly. So, Stelton is not for me. I see last time out, cropping afterwards as well. So I don't know. He can win without my money. If the Cliffy Miller yard was in good form, I would have told you Naval Secret good thing. But unfortunately, they are horribly out of form at the moment. So the horse I'm actually looking towards is Captain Opie, who really enjoyed his first run here on the poly where he beat Watch a Winner. And the stable companion, Captain Mariska, who ran a very good race as well to Captain Opie. So I'll make it between the 2 Gavin Smith horses. I think those 2 will probably get you through the place accumulator, but you're going to need to add a couple more into the pick 6. Tricky kind of a race.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe the Cliffy Miller yard could find form now that they're back on the poly track, and their runners could certainly enjoy just being back on the surface, and they could return to form. And Naval Secret could run a huge race, especially with Louis Mkotwa in the irons. Race number 8. Fillies and Mares, 66 handicap, 1300 meters the distance, and my oh my, wow, what a tough race to close off proceedings, Grant. We need all the help that we can get from you. For me, horse number 12, Big Sky Country, that's going to be the selection. Drawn in gate 2, Louis Mkotwa aboard, Gavin Smith teaming up with Louis. She bounced back to some of her better form last time out behind Burning Moon. She was doing her best work at the finish. Drawn in gate 2, I think is a huge positive. Poly track, 1300 meters, no issues for me. And I think she could just get that overdue 3rd career victory, especially now on a mark of 58. But your thoughts on the race?
Yeah, well, you and I in the same boat, Raheel. I also went for Burning Sky. I think she's the right kind of horse with the right draw. I've also added in Owlet, who's 1300 meter form on the poly, been very good, even though she comes from a bad draw. Very, very tricky race. You need to go as wide as possible. The 6, number 6, Ikem Boulevizan is also a bit of a runner. She tends to do well on the poly, and from a 1 draw with the Mela up, she could be in the firing line as well. And the last one I had in there was Crown Plaza as well. Not a bad run off Burning Moon, and then a good run to Angel Deb. But a very tricky race. Punters need to go as wide as possible. Slight preference for Big Sky Country in the last.
No doubt that race number 8, probably the toughest day on the card, and a tough one to close off proceedings, especially in that pick 6. If you run into the pick 6 and you're heading into the last leg, you certainly want to have as much cover as possible. And the pick 6 could pay a fair dividend come Tuesday at Fairview on the poly track. Now, we'll move along to the suggested bet part of the show. And Grant, take us through your suggested bet for racing at Fairview on Tuesday.
Okay, I've got my best bet is Blonde Act, and my value bet I've got is Al Qasim. I think those two, and then I've got a win multiple, race 1, number 1, and Woodland Ridge onto Blonde Act.
And that's Grant's suggested multiple. And just having a look at the odds on Hollywood bets, that suggested a double there. That's Woodland Ridge into Blonde Act at around 9-1 in the market, and certainly do look to be two horses with massive chances in the race, and it could be worth a go at around 9-1. Grant, thanks very much for all of your help with racing at Fairview. All the best, and have a good week.
Thank you very much, Rahil. Go well. Bye-bye.
Thanks to Grant for all of his assistance, and all the best, guys. Hopefully you manage to make yourself a bit of cash on Tuesday over at Fairview and find all the winners.